Dragons mean different things in the myths of different cultures. In some traditions, they are terrifying monsters. But in the Far East, they are often wonderful creatures. How can we understand these contradictions? We find the key in Sri Aurobindo's writings. There, the dragon usually symbolizes the inconscient. In Savitri, the dragon of the dark foundations keeps unalterable the law of chance and death. In the Life Divine, he writes, "The black dragon of the inconscience sustains with its vast wings and its back of darkness the whole structure of the material universe. Its energies unroll the flux of things. Its obscure intimations seem to be the starting point of consciousness itself and the source of all life impulse." But Sri Aurobindo also writes, "The inconscience is an inverse reproduction of the supreme superconscience." So, besides the dragon of the inconscience, there is also a dragon of the superconscience. In the Veda, it is called Ahi Budnya. Sri Aurobindo translates this as the mystic dragon of the foundations. These are not the dark foundations below, but the luminous foundations above. The white fire dragon bird in Savitri is a dragon of this type. Here, we glimpse the secret of the mother's connection with dragons. This is a passage about Savitri as a young girl. Almost they saw who lived within her light, her playmate in the sempiternal spheres, descended from its unattainable realms, in her attracting advent's luminous wake, the white fire dragon bird of endless bliss, drifting with burning wings above her days, heaven's tranquil shield guarded the missioned child. The double nature of the dragon also explains what Sri Aurobindo means when he writes about the Divine Mother in Savitri. Alone her hands can change time's dragon bays. Time's dragon bays points to the dragon of the dark foundations, symbol of the inconscient. But this dragon is not to be slain like the monsters of mythology. It is to be transformed. But into what? Evidently, into its luminous counterpart, whose shadow it was all along. The dragon of the inconscient has changed back into the dragon of the superconscient. In this light, we can understand why dragons have been associated with some of the most important events in the history of the ashram. In 1926, on November 24, a day which we now know as Siddhi Day, an event took place which introduced the symbolism of the dragon. In the words of A.B. Purani, the day for which the mother had been waiting for so many long years came on the 24th November. The sun had almost set, and everyone was occupied with his own activity. Some had gone out to the seaside for a walk. When the mother sent round word to all the disciples to assemble as soon as possible in the veranda where the usual meditation was held. By 6 o'clock, most of the disciples had gathered. It was becoming dark. In the veranda on the wall near Sri Aurobindo's door, just behind his chair, a black silk curtain with gold lace work representing 3 Chinese dragons was hung. The 3 dragons were so represented that the tail of one reached up to the mouth of the other, and the 3 of them covered the curtain from end to end. We came to know afterwards that there is a prophecy in China that the truth will manifest itself on earth when the 3 dragons, the dragons of the earth, of the mid-region and of the sky, meet. Today, on the 24th of November, the truth was descending, and the hanging of the curtain was significant. It is interesting to note that the mother had brought this curtain with her when she came to India from Japan in 1920. The next event of immense significance was 15 August 1947, Sri Aurobindo's birthday and the independence of India. On this important date, once again, the dragon's symbolism is very prominent. The mother commissioned 17 embroideries of golden dragons for this date. The embroideries were to adorn the walls, lintels and tables of Sri Aurobindo's rooms. To begin with, the drawings. The mother asked Sanjivan Biswas to draw the designs. He made approximately 17 sketches, drawn primarily in graphite and black India ink, on large sheets of brown packing paper, as drawing materials were not as plentiful then as they are now. The mother gave him a small card with a drawing of a Chinese dragon and explained to him what she wanted, often indicating the color. Sanjivan confidently drew the designs on large sheets on the floor of the corridor upstairs in the main ashram building. The mother occasionally passed by to observe what he was doing. Sanjivan said that the mother's ways of teaching was not just through practical guidance, but rather she could create with her advice the consciousness to understand and execute the work vividly and successfully. The sinuous patterns were then traced onto silk or satin and finally embroidered with silk thread or gold and silver zari by young ashram sadhikas. The most skilled of the ashram embroiderers were involved in this tremendous task. Vasudha, Taraben, Leelaben among them. The meticulousness of these embroideries is astonishing, their beauty inspiring. When one looks at the dragons in their exquisite splendor, one feels that they are playful. As one examines each embroidery with its superb skillfulness, one perceives an act of love. One of the first dragons to be completed was a wall hanging in Sri Aurobindo's room. The embroidery portrays 5 dragons which represent the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, ether and air. In a letter to a friend dated 1943, Sanjeevan referred to this piece. "I was busy," he wrote, "with the design of a 6 by 8 feet curtain. The subject was 5 dragons with a sun at the center and a border of flames along the upper 3 sides. I finished the design at around 2:30 at night and gave it to the mother this morning. The mother very happily said that she will get this magnificent design embroidered with silver and gold threads." The design of the 5 dragons was embroidered by Vasudha using a stitch called couching, or laid stitching, which involves 2 sets of threads, one that is laid onto the surface of the fabric and one that attaches the laid threads. As pure gold thread from Surat was used, each dragon is seen in a scintillating aura of gilded glory. "Magnificent it was when the work was finished," exclaimed Sanjeevan. This piece, as well as a few others, formed the Dragon's Corner at the exhibition of embroideries, laces and fans displayed at the Ashram Exhibition Hall on February 20 to 23rd in 1956. In her book, The Story of a Soul, Huta recollected, "I was really fascinated seeing an incredible set of 6 pieces made of heavy white satin. The enormous dragons, designed by Sanjeevan, had been embroidered in gold and silver thread by Vasudha and other sadhikas for the mother's couch and its accessories. In China, the dragon is considered to be spiritual strength. I was told by Vasudha, who was in charge of the exhibition, that the intricate and fine embroidery had taken quite a number of years. The mother had sat on the couch only once, for a while, on the Independence Day of India. This was ultra-symbolic, for she embodied the true soul of our country, Mother India. Elsewhere, another sadhika recounted that they had very little time to complete the set. They worked day and night, taking very little time in between to rest and to eat. Once, when they were feeling tired and the work slowed down, the mother came and sat down among them and told them that they must make friends with the thread. She said, "Your hand will know instinctively where to place the needle." Years ago, Taraben recounted to Sunandaben, "We used to embroider the bed covers and curtains for the mother and Sri Aurobindo in the room which is now the bulletin office. We sat on the floor around a wooden frame onto which the cloth was stretched for embroidering. There was no fixed time. We worked for hours. We had no watches to distract us. The mother used to come down to this room with a tray of glasses filled with juice. She would smile and say, "Put your needles down, mes petites, and relax your eyes. They need rest." Then we would drink the juice brought by our sweet mother, while she appreciated our work. Sometimes she even guided us. The mother's dragon drawings have recently received the same loving, devotional care that went into the embroideries. In 2007, the Archives Conservation Lab, under Barbie's guidance, undertook the formidable task of repairing the patterns. They were in a deplorable condition, having spent years folded or rolled up in overstuffed trunks. The project to preserve these historical drawings took about 7 years. The conservation work began by placing the patterns in a humidification chamber, allowing the brittle paper to relax so it could be flattened under weights. Then each pattern was pieced together. Some were so fragmented it was a challenge to match the right snout or the right claw with the right dragon. When completed, each pattern was interleaved with acid-free buffered paper, rolled onto a long tube for support, wrapped in soft muslin cloth for protection, then inserted into a large tube. The patterns are presently housed in the ashram, cold storage room, for long-term storage. Here is one more intriguing dragon. In the mother's boudoir, some of the walls are lined with cupboards which have glass facings painted by Krishnalal with beautiful scenes of underwater life, shoals of fish, seaweeds, lobsters and starfish, and many other wondrous creatures of the sea. Even the carpet is a shade of sea green, with a design of turtles and starfish and seashells. But on one single cupboard, just behind the mother's chair, instead of sea creatures, there is the painting of a dragon. When Gauridi was a small, shy girl of 9, the mother asked her to say bonjour to this dragon every day. We present here some of the other embroideries in the mother's collection, which feature the dragon as a theme. Finally, some amazing information from Gautam Chawla, who worked closely with the mother for more than 2 decades. Among other things, he looked after her collection of textiles. When he brought out the dragon embroidery used on 24 November 1926 and asked the mother what he should do with it, she replied, "Keep it carefully. We will use it again when the transformation takes place."